What's up, guys? Kelly McKay here, aka HVAC Millionaire, right here on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, and leave me a comment below. Today I want to talk to you about mindset, because your mindset is what holds you back. And I've had lots of conversations with contractors over the past several months, and it's still very prevalent in our industry. And so I want to help you understand a few different things that is all in the mind in order for you to overcome them and get to that next level in your business, whatever that may be, if that's your goal. So if your intent is not to grow your business, if your intent is not to scale and begin to add more employees, add more trucks, to buy a building, if that's not your goal, then this video is not for you. But for the people who are interested in those types of things, to eventually get out of a truck someday, then it's all going to start with your mindset. So let's talk about first flat rate pricing, because a lot of people have this misconception about what flat rate pricing is. And flat rate pricing is being used everywhere. It is being used everywhere. When you go to a steak restaurant and you order a $30 steak dinner, then they don't break that up and tell you, oh, well, $2 goes to the hostess, $3 goes to the server, $10 goes towards the steak, $5 goes towards the green beans, $8 goes towards the mashed potatoes and gravy, $1.50 goes toward the salad. Like, they don't break it up for you. They give you a flat rate price, and most restaurants have a menu that you're looking at this flat rate price for, and then you decide, am I going to trade $30 for this steak dinner? So you have the decision to make before you even order. Well, this is one of the benefits of flat rate pricing, is you can give people the decision to order what they want as far as your list of things that you found that need service, and they can make the decision. So that's one of the greatest things about flat rate pricing, is that you will eliminate a lot of the price concern at the end of the call. Or they're not sitting there waiting, oh gosh, he's out there in his truck, he's talking on the phone, I'm paying for this. You know, I'm paying for this. It's going to take, God, he needs to hurry up and get to work. And so the customer worries about having to pay you more because you have to take a phone call of whatever kind in the middle of the service call. So this way, it doesn't matter how long you take, it's the price you gave them. And that's a huge benefit of flat rate. Now, when I talk about flat rate, all the time I hear contractors say, if I say, hey, you know, if your flat rate needs to be bumped up to $400 an hour, let's just say, if that's where you're at and you need to bump it up to $400 an hour, first off, I'm probably losing some of you because you're saying, holy cow, that's ridiculous. I charge $90 an hour. I charge $120 an hour. I understand. However, you're not going to operate a successful, thriving business that can pay for everything you need to scale the business on those types of wages, on only charging $90, $120, $150 an hour. You're going to struggle. You're going to have a bad time. And I don't want you to have a bad time. I want you to be able to pay yourself, because you're worth so much. You are worth so much. And you deserve to be compensated for the work that you do and the great attitude that you bring to work every day and how much you care about your customers. You deserve to make money. And so, because if you don't make money, you can't stay in business. There's one thing that's true about business, is that you only run out of money once, right? And your job as the business owner is to not run out of money. And in order to not run out of money, the second lesson, so flat rate pricing is everywhere. Second lesson is a huge secret, and I'm going to tell you right now, the customer pays for everything. Did you hear me? The customer pays for everything. Yeah, you heard that right. It doesn't matter what business you are in. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. The customer is paying everything that business does or provides or has or offers. The customer pays for it. It doesn't matter if it's a restaurant, if it's an heating cooling business, an electric business, a plumbing business, a consulting business, Walmart, right? Target. All of these places, the customer pays for everything. Customers paying for all those prime real estate properties that they buy with a 40,000 square foot building put on that property. Customer pays for that. Every single business alive, the customer pays for everything that business has. Pays for everyone's salary, it pays for everyone's benefits, it pays for the trucks, it pays for the tools, it pays for the forms, it pays for the coaching, it pays for everything. And so when you start to understand that, and you start and you actually believe it, because it is true, you can't argue with me on this. You can't argue with me. Every business that exists, everything the business has is paid for by the customer. So that's the second rule that you have to understand and just be okay with. It's the way things are. And it's a simple mindset shift that you can overcome very quickly just by becoming aware of it. You know, when it comes to changing the way you do things, you could do it very slowly, and a lot of times change does happen. It can happen slowly. But think of it this way. If you are always driving home from your shop, wherever that's at, or maybe you don't have one yet, but your future shop when you get one, you're driving from the shop home every day. And that drive takes you 20 minutes every day. And there's traffic you have to deal with. There's all kinds of crap that you have to deal with. And the fastest you can ever make it home is 20 minutes. If I was to observe the route that you're taking and I was able to say, hey, look, Charles, you can actually take this route. It'll save you 10 minutes a day, every day. It's more scenic and there's less traffic. You will change in an instant because you will get home faster every single day. You're saving yourself, at the end of the year, hours and hours and hours of driving. So you can change in an instant when you unlock what's holding you back in your brain, what's holding you back in your mind. And the thing that holds people back is limiting beliefs and thought patterns. And then those thought patterns create behaviors, and those thoughts also create feelings. So hopefully you're picking up what I'm putting down here. And so now that you've hopefully gotten past this, now let's talk about the third thing that people misunderstand about flat rate pricing, which is they think if I'm going to charge $400 an hour, that every time I go out to a call, that's what I'm charging, $400 an hour. So I'm going to collect $400 every time. My customers will never go for that. Well, you're probably right. Your customers aren't going to go for that. So, especially if you had no parts, right? You had no parts. You were there for an hour, fixed it, and you didn't actually, how are you going to break that up on your invoice? What are you going to show the customer? So that's another thing we'll talk about real quickly is every single service is a service. So if you just repaired a broken wire, then you need to have a task in your price book that says repair broken wire, level 1, level 2, level 3. And there's going to be times associated to each of those levels. And this is where what we're talking about is the flat rate pricing, is that you're not charging $400 an hour every time you go out there. You are breaking that up. So if I'm there if my repair, my diagnostic and my repair takes me 30 minutes to do, and I'm using an hourly rate of $400 an hour, but I was able to diagnose and repair it in a half hour, then what I'm going to charge them for my labor portion of the call is going to be $200. So that's more how you have to think about flat rate. If it only takes you, now, when you're building a task list, as far as the types of repairs that you're going to do for people, then you want to make sure to always overcompensate a little bit. So if you can change a hot surface igniter in 10 minutes, make it 20. Maybe you thought you had the right igniter on your truck and you dug through your truck for 8 minutes out there in your truck. Well, then you're losing money if you're always having a hard time finding those igniters. So you want to give yourself a little bit of cushion room. And by the time you have the conversation with the customer anyways, you're going to be at that 20 minutes, guaranteed. So always give yourself extra time when you're breaking down your repairs. But that's the key, is to break down your time. So if you can replace a blower motor in an hour on average, make it an hour and 15 minutes. Make it an hour and 30 minutes, just to be safe. Because you're always going to have those calls that you don't have the right part on your truck, or you used it on the last call. So now you got to go, take a detour in between calls to go get that blower motor to get it back on your truck. So if you're doing these things, then be sure those things we can't plan or prepare for. It's just going to happen. It's part of what we do. And so in order to plan and prepare for it, the best thing to do is to make sure that you have added time to every single call. I'm not telling you to pad the living crap out of it. I'm just telling you pad it a little bit, because there's going to be times where you can't get the hub loose from the shaft. There's going to be times where you got to go pick up a new blower squirrel cage, new blower wheel. Like, it's inevitable. Those times, those things will happen. So make sure to pad it. So, but that's how you go about your flat rate pricing. It's a minute by minute thing. If I'm charging $500 an hour, then I've got to determine with some degree of accuracy how many minutes it's going to take me to do each repair, and make sure I'm charging accordingly for those minutes. So another thing that I see as far as the mindset's concerned, so that covers the majority of why you want to be flat rate. Now let's talk about prescribing versus recommending, because you want to stop recommending stuff. People don't need recommendations. You are the expert. You are the professional. You are the authority on what you do. Day in and day out, you're going to people's homes and you're fixing furnaces and air conditioners. You're a professional. Whether you call yourself or you feel that way or not, you're a professional. So you need to act like a professional when it comes to diagnosing the system and looking at all the problems on the system, and then delivering the results of what you found to the customer, of your prescription of what needs to happen. So we don't recommend. Think of it when you go to the doctor and he looks you over and then he says, Kelly, hey, just for hypothetically, let's say your blood pressure is really high, right? So if the doctor says, Kelly, your blood pressure is really high, I'm going to put you on some medication. That's not what he said. That's more like what he says. So my point is that what he doesn't say is, Kelly, your blood pressure is kind of high. I think maybe if you just wait 6 months, you'll probably be okay. There probably won't be any too much permanent damage if you just wait 6 months and we can check it again, like when I come out next spring. So let's just do that and move on. No, the doctor says, Kelly, your blood pressure's high. I'm going to prescribe you this medication. You're going to take it twice a day. You make sure to take it with water. What pharmacy do you use? And then he calls it into the pharmacy and I'm like, yep, okay. Well, when you act like the authority and the professional, your customers your customers will accept what you have to tell them as the gospel. They're going to accept it because of your demeanor, because of the way you talk about it, and your certainty and your authority in what you're doing. So it's time to start acting like an authority. Start acting like a professional. If you start doing this, you're going to start to see dramatic increases in what you're doing and the results that you get for your business. So I highly recommend to prescribe. You do your thorough diagnostic on the system. It's a system for a reason. It's not just a furnace. It's not just an air conditioner. It's not just an evaporator coil. It is a system. You have to look at it as a system. And when you start looking at it as a system, you're going to find problems, right? It's inevitable. I don't care if the system's 6 years old, 3 years old, or 8 or 25 years old. It doesn't matter. There's problems. And if I don't see any drastic problems that first of all, I wouldn't judge the problem, so scratch what I just said. But if I don't see anything that's like dangerous, and I can't make this thing safer, reliable, or more efficient, then I'm going to ask the customer questions about their indoor air quality. I may take a few readings and whatever you want to do to add value to that. But I'm going to at least tell them about our indoor air quality products, because that's my job as a professional. I always tell the story. If I go buy a car and it's a nice car and I really enjoy it and I like it. But then my uncle goes and buys the same car. And he pulls up to me and he's got the Bose stereo system in it, or whatever the latest, greatest stereo systems are. He's got the heated steering wheel. He's got a sunroof. He's got video cameras in the back seat, headrest, right? He's got all these extra accessories. And I look at my car, I'm like, I don't have any of those things. I'm like, shit. Like, but what if the sales guy never even told me that those were options that I could have? I'm going to be upset. There's not a person alive that doesn't appreciate a great salesman, because they know what they're talking about. They can explain all the options to you, so you can you have the ability to make the best decision for you. But if he didn't describe those things to me and didn't tell me that those were even options for me, well then he is making a decision for me. He is discriminating against me. So technicians all the time will say, yeah, I get all this and I should do all this, but what about if they're on a fixed income? And the first thing I say is, you're going to discriminate against these people because they're on a fixed income. That's not your job. That's not how you be a professional. Once again, I love my doctor analogies, right? So the doctor comes in. Do you think he gives a damn about your income if he has to tell you or give you a bad diagnosis that you have cancer? It's his job as a professional to give you the proper diagnosis. Your job as a professional is to give the proper diagnosis. It doesn't matter if they have any money or not. I don't care. I'm a professional. Your system's going to fall apart. It's going to cost you way more money, not only to operate, but in the damage that's being created from this stuff happening. We have to fix this. Just like a doctor says, we have to fix this. What are you going to do? But they still give people the options, right? I mean, you can take chemo or not take chemo. That's up to you. Well, but they don't discriminate against you. And so as a professional, stop discriminating against your customers. It doesn't matter if they have the money or not. That's not your job to worry about. Your job to worry about is to be the professional. That's it. So that's another big thing that I see all the time that people struggle with. And so I hope these analogies that I'm using can help you see the light, to see how you've been doing a disservice to your customers, and how important it is for you to stop that. How important it is for the future of your business, for the future of your company, the future of your family and your employees, and what's possible for you. Because if you have a great business, like most people do have great businesses, like you guys know the technician side. Like maybe you grew up or you've been a technician for many years. So I have no doubt that you're great technicians and you care about your customers and you do the best job you can every single call. But I hope that you're questioning yourself now that you have a little bit more information, because it's all about knowledge. Once you learn more knowledge, then that's when you can earn more money. There are, in order for you to climb up the scale of any economic scale that you can think of, as soon as you stop being black and white in all of your decisions and all of your thought patterns and all of your what you say, once you stop that, you're going to move up that economic ladder, because now you're going to see more possibilities. What's possible for you? What if I did this? What if I did that? You're not stuck in your ways. So you got to get unstuck out of your ways. And if you struggle with that, this is kind of what we talked about this week on the coaching call, is then you've got to reprogram your mind. So if you're going to reprogram your mind, I'm going to tell you how to do it. So, because this is something that can take time. Like the example that I gave earlier, if I showed you an easier, faster route to get home every day, you would take it immediately and you would change right there. So I hope that you've heard something up until now that I've been talking about that's going to get you to change right now. Like, boom, okay, that made sense. What Kelly just said, that made sense. I got to change. I got to start delivering a better service to my customers. I have to start working harder. at making sure that I'm looking at this as a system and offering things that make the system more safe, more reliable, and more efficient. So now, the more open you are to new ideas and beliefs, the more opportunities there are for you in life and in your business. So it's going to be imperative that you adopt this new mindset and stop being so black and white. Like if you, for instance, if you tried Facebook ads before and it didn't work for you, well, don't get it stuck in your mind that, oh, Facebook ads don't work. If you tried Google local services or Google ads and it didn't work, don't say Google ads don't work. And we're all guilty of this, guys. I mean, it may seem like I'm on a soapbox here. I'm just trying to help you guys. I want you to get past some of your limiting beliefs so you can start expanding your mind, which will expand your business. But look, I've done all of these things. I am guilty as charged, just like we all are. But the first step in change of anything is awareness. So in order to make ourselves more aware, we need to begin to write. I'm already going to assume that this is a smart group of people watching this video, and you're so smart that you have written goals. So if you don't have written goals, there might not even be any hope for you if you don't do it soon. So do it soon. If you don't have written goals, go get to work writing some goals down. What would you like your health to be like? What would you like your relationships with your family members and your team members to be like? What would you like your business to look like? How much revenue does it do? How much profit does it kick off every month? How much would you like to be paid? How much would you like to save? How much would you like to travel? What about your hobbies? You know, one thing that is for sure when it comes to the HVAC business is it takes so much of our energy and effort when we are fixated on growth that you forget who you are. You just work as an HVAC business, that's all you focus on is business. So that's part of what we do in our coaching too, is to help people, look, you're not your business. You never have been your business. You never will be your business. Is the business a big part of your life? Absolutely, it should be, because it is a wealth vehicle, but it's not you. You had hobbies. You had, different goals, or even if it was just mental pictures of what you would like to happen in your relationships or in your personal life before you started the business. So we need to stop for a moment every so often and think about those things. And so you've got to write your goals down. I don't know if you can see that because this marker is so thin and the other marker sucks, but write your goals down. You're going to look at those goals 3 times a day, every day. Once in the morning when you wake up, once during the middle of the day, just so you can course correct your actions, your thoughts, and your behaviors towards the achievement of those goals. And then at the end of the day, before you go to bed, look at those goals again. Now, if you want to turbocharge and accelerate the achievement of those goals, then you're going to write affirmations. Affirmations are declarations. It's a statement that declares that something has already been achieved. So whether it's been achieved or not, you're going to write it down as if you already have the thing that you want. So, I earned $250,000 in my successful, fun HVAC business every year. Or I am healthy, wealthy, happy. I am healthy, wealthy, and happy. I'm healthy, wealthy, and happy. Right? So, affirmations are just declarations, or connotations, I think some people call them. But you've got to write down affirmations for each of your goals. Usually one affirmation per goal is going to serve you. Now, when it comes to writing affirmations, it's better to go deep on a couple than to write a whole bunch that you just read every so often. So if there's a couple of things that you really want to happen in life and you want to start beginning to program your mind, which will in turn program your behavior to work more towards those goals, then focus on those top 2 things. So maybe your top 2 goals, take those right now in your life. This is something you never stop looking at. Because life changes and your priorities change. And so once that changes, you can always change your goals and change your affirmations. But for now, whatever it is that you really want to happen in life, that's what you're going to look at. And you're going to write an affirmation for it. You're going to repeat it 3 times a day. If you're by yourself, then say it out loud. If you're not by yourself, then say it silently. If you are, one of my affirmations for a long, long time, and I still use it to this day, I am so happy and grateful now that an abundance of money comes to me through multiple sources on a continuous basis. I am so happy now that an abundance of money comes to me through multiple sources on a continuous basis. So when you add feeling to it, if you can add any types of feelings to it, it's going to increase the power of that affirmation. And with those feelings is what turns into, not only thoughts, but it also is going to help you direct your behavior more towards your goals. See, too many times we focus on the things that we actually don't want. Like, man, I hope I can pay all my bills this month. Man, I hope we collect that check on Friday, because if we don't, I'm not going to be able to make payroll. Like, we focus on the things that we don't want. Well, what I'm telling you is to focus on the things that you do want. I've got people in HMC that have, they're great people to begin with, but I hope that I've had a little bit of influence on them to start thinking differently. And look, results are showing up in their account. I just talked to a guy 2 days ago. He's got 6 figures in his bank account. A year ago, he had 4 figures in his bank account. So things can change drastically for the better when you use affirmation. You write your goals, you use affirmations daily, and then you visualize, like see yourself as if you're in a movie. So you're seeing it through your own eyes. You're not seeing it like third person. You're not seeing yourself do the things or collect the checks or have the loving relationship or have the body or the fitness that you want, or maybe the contribution. You want to donate a bunch of money. Well, don't see yourself outside of yourself. Make sure that you're seeing yourself when you visualize as it's you handing that check for $100,000 to your favorite charity. Or laughing, smiling, feeling great about the relationship that you have with your kids or with your significant other. So use these things, and this will help direct your thoughts and your behavior. But you got to use the images, the positive visual imagery with the affirmation, and you will change yourself eventually over time. And your external world will eventually become your internal world. But you have to use your affirmations. You have to write them in the present tense. You have to, you want to start with the words I am. I am happy, healthy, wealthy. I am happy, healthy, wealthy. I am a great salesman and people love to buy from me. I am a great salesman and people love to buy from me. Whatever that affirmation is, you want to start with I am, because I am is a direct command to your subconscious mind. It perks up and says, what? He's saying he is, so okay. Well, and that might create a little bit of cognitive dissonance. So that cognitive dissonance between where you're at right now, because that might not be true right now. But when you say it over and over with repetition, then your subconscious mind has no filter. It can't stop you from bringing this stuff in. And you're just shoving it and you're packing it down tighter into that subconscious mind. Eventually, subconscious mind says, hey, he says he wants to be rich. Hey, he says he wants a great relationship. Hey, he says he wants to look good naked. Right? It will change your behavior. It will literally change your behavior because you've programmed your mind. So that's how you do it. So I've covered so much on this video. I'm going to let you guys go for now. I appreciate anybody who stayed this long to the end. If you're interested in taking your business, your mindset, your finances, your relationships, your courage, your commitment to the next level, then it's time to get committed. It's time to stop pretending that things are okay.